just got a fright because this little devil landed on me and I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a big spider, and then I flicked it off and it was a bumblebee. Looks a bit dazed, I think, but I'm pleased to see it here. This is my cardoon, which, as you can see, has got a bit of a lean on it, and I tied it in yesterday and the string broke, so it's much too heavy, but it's got lots of flowers on it, just like globe artichokes, but I'm not sure how to use it, but it's a beautiful plant. I'll tie that in again with something stronger in a minute. Blackberries flowering and getting ready to fruit soon. Little berries forming. And the apple tree, the little apples are getting bigger, which is jolly good news. I'm pleased to see this apple tree certainly does better here than in the garden. The apple trees in the garden. Need to cut this comfrey down, put it on the compost heap, although it's still flowering and the bees like it, although I can't see any on there at the moment. They seem to like me better than they do the comfrey. And there's the raspberries, lots of fruit on it but not ripe yet. Blueberries, quite a few there, and on this bush, and that bush is looking healthy, and the garlic, the elephant garlic, is hopefully swelling up underneath the soil, so that we'll have quite a harvest from that. And as you can see, I took the tops off, the scapes off, and used them in cooking as a mild garlic flavour, and very nice it was too. And there, the parsnips coming up lovely. These are the ones I put in late to fill the gaps, and these are the ones that germinated okay and are looking alright. Here the leeks are beginning to look healthy now. There are a few gaps which I will fill in later, either from some spares I've got, or I'm sure the Horticultural Society will have some spares. The onions have got this fungal disease, but seem to be growing through it and recovering, which I hope is the case. And the seeded onions are looking alright too, so that will be an interesting experiment. Here we got peas. These are the tall peas, and they are beginning to get flowers on them, which is good, but no peas yet. But these peas, which I found in the bottom of my gardening bag and just threw them in the hope that something would happen, turns out to be at least 2 different sorts of peas. And as you can see, this one has got red, purple coloured flowers, which is unusual, because the others on here, but this is a different variety, and they've got white flowers. In fact, they have got little peas forming already. There, just beginning to form. Oh, and here is a scape, which I've missed, so I'll cut that later off of garlic, and you take that home to put in a stir fry or something. So there are lots of peas coming up here. Grandchildren will be pleased to hear that. And these tall peas, the champion of England, are coming on nicely. And the potatoes look healthy, recovered from the frost, and they're really getting going. Sarpo Mira and Sarpo Kifley, I think it is. And the good news about the sweet corn is that they've managed to survive so far, the slugs, and are beginning to get going. Looking reasonably healthy, which I'm pleased about. These are bicolour sweet corn, so they're yellow and white kernels on the cobs, which should be interesting. Some more parsnips here, which are looking healthy. Few gaps, but there'll be enough parsnips there. And this is Jerusalem artichoke, which has survived the slugs. That one in the corner there didn't survive the slugs. It might still get going, but it's a bit late now. That Jerusalem artichoke should do well. And here are the broad beans, which are interesting because there are lots and lots of flowers. And if the bees do their job, then they should make sure that the flowers turn into beans. I can't really see any at the moment. There's one or two there, flowers that look as though they might do, but it all depends on how well the bees do their job. There's some more over here which might be able to show you. If the bees don't do their job, the flowers fall off with no bees, like these. Oh no, there's a little bean just growing. There's a flower, and there's a little bean behind. So there have been some bees buzzing around in here, doing their job. Pollinating the flowers. See, there's one. Oh yeah, there's a little bean there. Tiny little bean coming out. It is fascinating. Good, well done bees. And they haven't, not all of them are getting pollen. Oh look, there. Some earlier ones. Excellent. So we got broad beans coming on. Unfortunately this bin here with the onions is a bit of a failure. They've been gobbled by slugs. Some animal has pulled that one up. There's been diggings in there. So I think that bin, potato bin, is a bit of a failure. But never mind. And this Jerusalem artichoke, as you can see, is doing alright, but if you look at the tops, all bitten to pieces by the slugs, and that one, well, there, nothing left of it. And it keeps trying to grow, and it keeps getting eaten, a bit like these runner beans here. These noodle beans. They're struggling to get going, and yet that one is really halfway up the netting. So these two outdoor cucumbers are doing all right. In fact, that one has got a little baby cucumber coming. Two, in fact. This is called lily cucumber. And there's my broccoli, which I built a netting cage for, and they're doing really well. I'm pleased with them. Look forward to next spring when these produce masses of broccoli. And in fact, the dwarf kale here is beginning to look just as healthy. They have been slugged, but they're fighting their way through it. So in the rest of that patch is going to go some black kale, which is much taller, so that's why that end of the cage is taller, so that the kale can grow to its full height. And this strawberry tub has produced some strawberries, but in the warm weather it dries out very, very quickly, so the strawberries don't do as well as they should. Julie's been up here putting some sunflowers. The carrots are doing alright, but this carrot fly netting has been blown off by the wind. I'll have to repair that in a minute. I don't want the carrot flies getting to that. And this bed had pumpkins in it, and now, as you can see, there's almost nothing left of the pumpkins because the slugs have got them. But I've got some spares. I'll wait till they get a bit bigger and then put them in. Horseradish. Now this always does well, but I just don't want it to spread from there because it is quite invasive. And this poor little everlasting cabbage has really been slugged. And there's sunflowers coming up, beautiful. Hello, George. Yeah, I think it's going to pour, isn't it?
It is. It's forecast for 11 o'clock. Now,
well, yeah.
no sunflowers coming on.
Yeah, they're looking good.
Slugs have, don't they?
Yeah, I know. The slugs have had loads of things.
They've completely decimated one of my courgette plants. Unbelievable. All there is the roots and the stem.
Well, this bed here has got pumpkins in, and it hasn't got pumpkins in, but as you can see, every single one, apart from maybe one at the end there, is gone. Just completely eaten. I've got some spares, I'll put them in, but I don't want to put them in at the moment while it's still a bit damp. Yeah. It's been a bit of a mixed year for slugs.
Actually, I was saying I've not seen many, but in the cage where I've got all the courgettes, where I put the slug pellet, there's stacks of slime where they've
yeah.
But the slug pellets is definitely working.
Okay.
I don't know, can you still buy slug pellets, the old type? The blue one?
Yeah, you can, yeah. Yeah. The Horticultural Society, the Crawley Horticultural Society is open now. Yeah. Don't they sell it?
Oh, no, I'm not sure about that.
Oh, yeah, it's quite cheap to join.
Yeah, I used to be a good member, about £5 a year or something.
Yeah. Well, I've got a long membership. I don't know, I paid £14 and I've got to get about 10 years worth of membership out of it.
Oh, right.
It's all good, it's discounted everything. I get all my compost and everything from there, fertiliser and chemicals and things. Well, not chemicals, but yeah, it's definitely worth doing. Bye then. That was George.
I never find a bag of compost.
No.
He said she had one delivered up there, was it weird?
Oh, I've no idea.
Oh, right.
No. Another thing gone.
It was overnight, she said, they delivered it one day and she said she went to pick it up the next day and it wasn't there.
Oh. Yeah. Oh well. Mysterious. Bye. Black currants coming on. That was George. He's a good chap. And in here is cucumbers. They don't look as healthy as they should. That one's got a little cucumber on it. Dahlias are coming on magnificent. Well, some of them. There's a sunflower must have seeded itself from last year, and it's just coming up. And outside the polytunnel, the plants that Julie put in, the flowers, are coming on nicely. Tithonia should look very nice, and a chrysanthemum at the end there. And then in here, Pride and Joy. Oh dear. Now that is a puzzle, because it's not dying because of lack of water or lack of watering, but I think that underneath the soil there has been some burrowing, and then it's got sorry for itself, and as you can see there, that is broken, it's been eaten, and so that will have to come out, which is a bit of a shame really. These are pumpkins that are going to replace the ones that have been slugged when they get big enough. Some lettuce and some butternut squash which need to replace the slugged ones. aubergine plant coming on, tomatoes coming on, radish. I expect Bonnie will have those later if she can get her hands on it. Wonderful. And these lettuces are just magnificent. Never grown lettuces like this before. Everybody needs a polytunnel. And this spinach, look how that is growing. Gonna have to cut some of this. There's aubergine plant coming up in the middle of it. And the two courgette plants here, which are doing really well, but just not producing any flowers. So I don't know why that is the case. And on here, these two cucumbers, unlike the other one at the other end, is doing really well. And there are some cucumbers growing, and it'll only be a week or so before that will be pickable. More cucumbers, and this one's gherkins in there. So there are lots and lots of flowers and lots of little gherkins coming, which will be interesting. I've never grown them before. Couple more tomato plants, and these melons are producing lots of flowers. I don't know yet whether there are any melons coming. I can't see any. There's a possibility there, but we will see. Another melon there. And the grapevine is beginning to get going. It's didn't like being transplanted, I don't think, but there are some shoots coming on it now. Lots of tomato flowers. So all in all, the polytunnel is a great success. And the onions, compared to outside, look at that. They're just magnificent. Just hope they mature into healthy bulbs. There you go, it's all looking good.